how do I build conscience? How do I make better decisions? I think you just got to start making better decisions, right? You have to exercise your own personal agency, and you're going to learn. You're going to be better. Surround yourself with good people. Build yourself a community around something that you love, or find the community that is around something you love, and you're going to be a lot happier in the long run. John.
What's up, Brian?
What nobody tells you about is that self-control and discipline aren't really that hard at all.
Good luck telling that to Diddy.
That guy's got real self-control.
1,000 cases of baby oil?
1,000 cases. Did you read the indictment?
No, I did not.
I read the indictment. It's actually...
You did now?
I did. Well, most of it. What was interesting about the indictment...
Jesus Christ.
No, it was interesting
My
about...
childhood is ruined.
To be fair, so are a lot of women's. They're like, yeah, I'll suck some guy's dick for,
Just women? You read the indictment.
I read the indictment. Okay, well, let me say...
Because from...
Well, the main reason... I'll tell you why the main reason I read the indictment is the news was reporting these freak-offs.
Right, lack of self-control.
Yeah, well... Yeah.
On the... Not just a couple hours with hookers.
I mean...
Or male trans or whatever the hell you're into, but...
Okay. The freak-offs...
Sessions.
I wanted to know exactly what the freak-offs were.
Enough where you need an IV drip.
Well... But here goes the thing. I don't
and
think
no bail.
Separate issue. No, but here goes the thing.
It's the same as the baby oil. It's slippery.
Well, no. So I think in Hollywood, anyways, the IV drip is probably pretty common.
Okay.
Because I remember reading years ago, Denzel, him and his wife went partying, and they partied hard. I'm guessing drugs, right? I mean, let's just be real. That's part of the celebrity culture.
Did he?
Well, I don't know if he was. I don't know. I'm not going to implicate. This video is not here to implicate anyone on these lists here. No, but I think it's pretty common. I think celebrities generally, when they party hard, they're going to detox and do whatever they can to detox. And I think the IV drip is probably pretty common among that echelon of people. No, but what I read, the main reason I read the indictment, because everything I was reading about these freak-offs, I wonder what the legal document said about the freak-offs.
Yeah.
And it was actually pretty interesting.
Okay.
Basically, coerce these women to go to these and to be fair, the indictment was a little vague, so I didn't get everything I was searching for. I tried looking on Reddit, still couldn't find much. But basically...
No bail.
No bail. So what the indictment said about these freak-offs, they were... they coerced women, specifically, to perform in these highly orchestrated, produced programs where he would then hire male sex workers to then have sex with these women while he watched, presumably jacking off and all that, all the wazoo stuff. And it sounds like there was guests, lots of guests.
Sure.
I don't know how many guests, but one report I read, actually in the indictment they even reference it, that there was a damages to a penthouse that they were renting out for this production, because that's what it was, like a large-scale production. $50,000 in damage just about that they had to cover for this hotel.
So I mean, production? What do you mean?
Well, so the way it sounded,
You're not selling it to me.
That's what I could not find, what they meant by production, right? Because when you think production, you think of something that's planned, that has a script, maybe, right? But,
no.
Well, okay, there's a level of planning that goes into a production.
My gripe with the language, I mean, you're the one that's read it, I haven't.
Yeah.
Does it say production?
If I'm not mistaken, it does.
Okay.
I would have to review it again. But
so to me, that means tax implications, that he runs an entertainment company.
Oh, I'm sure.
And to just keep everything kosher, he wants to say, because these are expenses. You're going to have a party, you're going to have expenses. Yeah. 100%. You are.
Yeah. I mean, and the other question, too, is if the guests are paying to come to these events. Because if it's a production, maybe not.
Probably not. because the way that like when we watch these really horrible videos from like Cat Williams trying to explain all, he's like saying like, no, at the end of this there was a deal. There was a contract at the end of the anal hole. Anyways, there's so
well, I mean, okay. So that was my mission when I was on Reddit, to really define what these for lack of a better word right now, because I can't remember. I'm not going to put any words in the indictment that are not there.
Yeah.
But if I remember correctly in the indictment, it specifically said
production. Yeah. Because things would be filmed.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like when you think production, I think you think almost like a set. Like we have a 3-camera setup. Yeah. You know, let's get the close up. Right. You know, we got an establishing shot. We got all these shots. I mean, that's what I think.
I can't believe you give Diddy an establishing shot.
He got an establishing shot. Well, but that's the thing. I'm not too sure. But I was trying to go down that rabbit hole to see what exactly are these freak offs. I'm presuming that the prosecution has video evidence of these.
100%. I mean, that's what they picked up at the multiple raids, right?
Yeah.
And then he left. And
the problem is, I heard Diddy, he titled the VHSs Freak Offs, Diddy Episode 1. I'm like, come on, dude. Who uses VHS anymore? So
it's blackmail, bro.
It's blackmail.
I mean, this is parallel to the Epstein.
And so that's what I was thinking, because
no bail.
He would have all these people in attendance, list of all these people in attendance. Celebrities, maybe upper echelons of the political class. Who knows? They might have a crap load of people.
What if it's even Kamala?
Okay, I mean, I'm not even going to go there. I wouldn't presume that shit.
Hey, Kamala got around with Willie Brown, bro. She got around with quite a few other guys.
Wait, you're not telling me she's a San Francisco politician who didn't just go up the ranks willy-nilly?
It was an elevator that went up, and I think it was easiest, instead of stairs, it was a conveyor belt that it's just easiest to just ride it on your back.
Fair. Well, regardless,
we're canceled.
I think what's interesting, and the first question that came to my mind is Diddy would have to, I mean, in order to save his own ass, would have to give up some names.
Yeah.
But I mean, that kind of goes back to the Epstein thing. You know, a lot of people. I mean, he had his list of people that are uncovered, but a lot of the information that's come out it's already been relatively known. So it's just going to be interesting to see what the outcome is. I think nothing's going to happen. I think Diddy's going to get prosecuted, and that's where it ends. I don't think whatever names he gives up, it's not really going to play a huge role. I think it's going to play a huge role in this sphere for discussion, for conspiracy, and all that. But I really wholly don't think much is going to come out of it. But we'll see. It's too early to tell. But to segue to our original topic.
What do you mean? This is the same topic.
Well, no, I know, but I want to.
That's on the extreme.
Yeah.
Right.
So, okay, would that be a lack of self-control, do you think, and discipline, or maybe is he exercising, really, maybe the transverse of what we think is self-control and discipline, or he's just using those two in a different way?
But let's go back to the original.
So yeah.
Right, because I think specifically with Diddy, it's somebody who, I don't know, I've never watched any of these freak offs. I've never been to a Diddy party. I've never been to a Diddy white party. But you can assume that the reason he's in the predicament that he's in is because he probably went too far.
Yeah.
And that's his own likings of strange sexual things.
I think too it's people in that position. I think it's just a high level of narcissism, and they think that they're untouchable, and that they get carried away.
Or it's not just untouchable, right?
Yeah.
It's not just it's power. It's real power to move people and to make people stars. And I think Diddy's had enough case studies with actual celebrities where we can see that that power has fully vested itself into, what's his real name?
I think Sean Combs. Well, and that's the funny part.
Sean P Diddy, Puff Daddy.
Well,
and you have all these other alter egos.
Yeah.
Right? That this character ends up getting developed because that's what's best for him.
Yeah.
To maybe put on that face, that mask, and say, I'm the puppet master. You're going to do what I want you to do, or else, because we have these cameras, you were at the party, you stayed plus 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, it's a sick game. And, you know, it just reminds me of the movie Eyes Wide Shut, just the amount of what we don't know, it goes behind on in those elite circles and people who have
But we
power.
do.
Well, I mean, we have an idea, right? And I'm not saying we don't know nothing about what's going on, right? I think Eyes Wide Shut is a great example of probably stuff that does go on, right?
I mean, the next obvious parallel is Weinstein.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another one.
Right? And none of the big blockbuster movies that you and I grew up with wouldn't have ever happened unless these celebrities did whatever Weinstein said to do.
Yeah.
Point blank. That's a lot of power.
Yeah.
To move the box office and say, this is what's happening.
But that power creates a level of narcissism.
Oh, no, 100%.
That they think that they're completely untouchable.
100%.
And I think Diddy thought he was untouchable. And he was for a period of time. I mean,
until Kamala starts running.
I don't go into the coincidences too much, but no, it's interesting. It's interesting.
I just tried the Schwarzenegger thing, dipping this in the whiskey. Wow, that is nice.
Ah, it's not bad.
It's really nice.
It's actually really good. But you know, so kind of to touch what I wanted to talk about a little bit. Obviously related on the, like you said, on the extreme ends. But self-control. Listen to a podcast recently. I thought was actually fairly fascinating.
So what, from lots of fapping to no fap?
Well, maybe. No, but no, what was interesting about the podcast, it was, do you ever listen to The Art of Manliness? I know we've talked about it before. I think we talked about it on the show.
I have, but I'm not on it regularly.
I probably listened to it more in the past than I do now. Not for lack of content. His content is always good. But specifically, this podcast spoke about self-control, and he brought on a psychologist whose new book, and you know, I'm not gonna name the book or the psychologist because I don't remember his name.
That's fair.
But I thought, regardless, the talking points were pretty interesting.
Okay.
And his argument is that self-control, to some degree, is a myth. So the way he framed it is that self-control, and most prevailing thinking, is almost like a finite resource. That if you exercise different amounts of self-control throughout the day, by the end of the day, you'll have less inhibitions and less self-control over desires, wants, pleasures, whether that's eating, whether that's sexually related, but it's all finite. And he says that's actually bullshit. And the reason he says it's bullshit is because no matter how much discipline or self-control that you exercise in your whole life, you tend to revert back to the beginning. So if, like, say, you know, he gave the example of a diet. So if you diet regularly and you exercise all this discipline, all this self-control, you refrain from eating the shitty food, you refrain from doing the shitty things for your fucking body. He made the point that in a year or two, most studies on diets show that you get back to your primary, where you started, your original weight, or sometimes you're even heavier. And I thought that was interesting because I've seen that in my own life, right? You know, I diet for a year, exercise, and, you know, I get in pretty good shape. My body's pretty good. But
when do you fall off?
You know, I fall off when I get comfortable at a certain point where I think I made it. No, maybe not comfortable. Comfortable is probably not the best word. But I fall off at a point when I feel like I've accomplished what I set out to do.
It's not challenging anymore.
And I'm not saying, what I'm not saying is I don't think we should do challenging things. I think that's the opposite of what I'm saying. but I think he was on to something that made sense to me. His prescription was conscientiousness. And so if you look at a guy like David Goggins, that guy's running constantly. He's telling everybody, you listen, you sons of guns, you're going to fucking run and you're going to hate it, but you're going to do it because that's what you get, that's what gets you better, right? And I think that's great. Sorry. Thank you. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what I don't think David Goggins and others are sharing is that he fucking loves to run.
He hates it.
I don't think so.
He hates it.
He might say that.
I think he hates it.
I don't know. I disagree.
I think he hates it.
I don't think so, man. I think a lot of these fitness guys, they love working out. Because some people, I know some people, they absolutely love to work out. So does it suck? Is it hard? Is it challenging? Sure, it's all those things. But deep down, it's something that they enjoy. To one degree or another. I don't know. But now if you think about the things in your life that you enjoy, you think about the things that you like to do, they're not hard to do. You just do them because you enjoy it. I mean, think about yourself in baseball. When you were in high school, I don't think baseball ever felt like a chore. Maybe some days it was harder than others physically, but I think you think of baseball as something I love to do. And at the time when you were fucking really good, I mean, you had a chance to go pro. Like, that is a huge deal. But I don't think, if you ask most pro athletes, maybe not most, but if you ask athletes, I think, who love their sport, they're not going to tell you that it's hard to do. I think, so one thing the psychologist was talking about is he was like, if you divide the Olympic quality level athletes versus the ones who are kind of on the borders, who don't make that Olympic quality, who, are a few seconds off of their swim, for example, to be an Olympic level swimmer. He says the Olympians, they don't train because they have to. They train because they love it. And the ones who are always grinding and who always, I fucking hate this, but I'm going to still do it, those are the ones who they don't have that threshold. And so what he broke it down is conscientiousness. And I think that, it makes a lot of sense to me anyways. Because anytime I've been successful in something that I do, it's always because I've been happy and I've been enjoying it.
That's probably why you're able to do it.
Yeah.
I think inherently you like it, but like for me personally, when I think back, no, like when I lost weight.
Yeah.
So I had a knee injury. Gained a bunch of weight, and I gained a bunch of weight because before the injury I was doing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I was doing boxing, I was doing baseball, I was doing tennis, I was running, I was doing soccer.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
I could eat anything that I wanted. And being in high school, yeah, you could eat anything that you wanted and it would go down. Being in high school,
you were hungry AF.
And it just would go down, and if I just kept training hard enough,
yeah,
it would eventually turn into something usable, like a better muscle fiber, or a little bit stronger. And so that athleticism is also a bit of a curse. Mm-hmm. So if I want to go out and I want to lose weight, I have to literally do at least 20 to 30 minutes of jump rope before I actually feel like I've done something.
Yeah.
20 to 30 minutes of jump rope consistently is not easy.
Yeah.
That's a high level. That's a pretty high level of athleticism, stamina. And even though I'm fat,
same here, I'm a fat piece of shit.
I need that extreme level of exertion before I can say, okay.
Yeah.
And now if I want to actually move the needle besides just calories, because I know what it's like to actually push myself, right? And when you get at that high level, you know what you have to do to push yourself to go above and beyond everyone else.
Yeah.
And so even if you don't want to do it, if you want to get better, you just shut the fuck up and you just do it.
So
it's not a love.
I agree with you.
It's a love of, you love getting better. You love performing better. Mm-hmm. You love being able to do the things better. And just because of that, if you're that kind of person and you're already on that high end of the bell curve for that sport or whatever the hell it is, you're going to do the work. And that's what it is.
No, I don't think anything you said is wrong there, and I'm not arguing that there is no value in discipline or self-control, nothing like that. But I think when you really enjoy to do something, like in that particular example, you love the gains that you got and how it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you love the gains that you got and how it almost affected your performance and made you better.
Sure.
Right. And I think that still translates to this pretty well, where because you love that gain, you're willing. I mean, yes, it's work. Again, it's not saying that I think nothing should be challenging, and I don't think you should never challenge yourself. Of course, I think and I know we've talked about it, there is value in doing hard things. But what I think people's hard things vary, right? What's hard to you might not be hard to me, and vice versa.
Sure.
And I think real, true conscientiousness, and, one of the things the psychologist said was that it's likely genetic in some degree, which makes sense because there's a lot of fucking shit that's genetic. I'm short and stubby. Genetics. But regardless, I think you can develop that in a couple ways. I think you can develop conscientiousness and just self-discovery, right? If you look for something that you enjoy and you actively look for something you enjoy, something that's challenging, and then you find that, I think you build some conscientiousness that way, right? You find something that challenges you, that you enjoy, I think you're going to get better and better. And I think those attributes of self-control and discipline almost come as a result of that because you're enjoying what you're doing.
But I think that first step is your own curiosity to figure out to try something new.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of it. And that's the hard part because, how curious are you going to be about something, right?
And I think the next problem is discipline.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you love it,
yeah,
most people are not disciplined enough to continue doing it.
Yeah. I mean, but that's what goes back to, how do you develop discipline then? I
90% of YouTubers don't get past episode 3. And
here we are, motherfuckers, episode 3. And we're going to do episode 4 next week. Back at you, bitch.
But
no,
that's discipline.
Yeah.
And already most channels stop right there.
Yeah.
They don't continue.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're being straight up with it, we had a moment where we fell off.
Yeah, last week.
You had something come up.
Yeah.
We couldn't record.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, you and I, we are the kind of people that say, no, we're more committed to actually learning this, figuring this out, seeing what the fuck we got to do this.
Yeah.
Just because we like hanging out with each other.
Yeah.
And we're like, fuck it, let's do it. Why not? Mm-hmm. And we're going to continue doing it. And as we continue doing it, we'll keep getting better at it.
Yeah.
I don't think you particularly love this, but I think you do enjoy it.
No, 100%.
And I enjoy the learning curve of figuring out how do you do this? Just because I'm just a curious person to say, how do you do that?
Yeah.
And so we're going to continue doing this.
Yeah.
And you're stuck with me. So here's your rope, and we're going to keep fucking going.
No, and here's where I think you said some key points there that, obviously I think we agree on a lot of what each of us are saying. But there's elements that you and I love about what we're doing that make it easy to continue.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I think this gives us a great opportunity to fucking hang out.
100%.
Get to talk to my buddy, have a stogie, and enjoy our time together. I think that's something I really enjoy. And then to be honest, you're one of the smartest people I know.
Thank you.
You're one of the smartest people that I know. No, for real, you're one of the smartest people that I know, and I enjoy. I don't know. We've fucking spent hours talking. Obviously, we just started recording some of these conversations. But I genuinely enjoy the engagement and interaction that we get from one another when we're bouncing ideas and bouncing things off. So I think that's what makes it easy.
Yes.
That's what makes it easy. You're right, though. There is a level of discipline, but I think discipline comes as a result of us enjoying this.
But I also think it's the character.
True.
Just like you told me that the psychologist went to Harvard.
I didn't.
So I don't know if he did. I don't know if he did or he didn't.
The Harvard thing was just a joke.
More than likely,
yeah.
I can assure you that I know that man is a disciplined enough individual to write a book.
Yeah.
And to go on and do podcasts and to do the whole media thing, and that is not something small to do.
Let me clarify. I don't think self-control or discipline are myths per se.
Yeah.
I just think because if someone is telling you kind of a one-size-fits-all, this is how you develop X, I just don't think it works that way for everyone, because everyone has a different background, everyone has a different environment, everyone has different resources too, right?
Yeah.
So ultimately, my feeling is that I think self-control and discipline are byproducts of people finding things that they enjoy. I think that has to be a component of it. I think
it's deeper.
It probably, to a different degree, sure. But I think all the fitness YouTubers and YouTubers who are telling you how to live your life, when what they're talking about is something they fucking are passionate about. I think all the fitness YouTubers, they fucking love working out. They have to. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. And for them to say to someone who says, fuck, I don't really love working out, but I'm going to push myself, I just don't think it's lasting.
I knew a girl who played basketball. You need it?
Yeah, pass me that boy.
At a college level, D1 school, and she admitted to me, I don't love basketball. I'm just gifted.
Yeah.
She's tall. I think she was like 6'3", 6'4".
Someone I know?
No.
Okay.
And she also admitted that the school that she went to, a great school.
A great school, the best school. I did Kamala and Trump.
And she was only there for the scholarship. Yeah. She didn't care about the game, the team. She'd do the work. She'd do the reps. She was disciplined. She had the habits for it. But deep down, she didn't love it. And she was just taking advantage of the fact that she was gifted and she could ball, right? And, like, she's got family members who could ball. And so it was just like that was something that the family did. But, like, her real passion is art. And she was just like, I know I'm going to get a college education here. And she's also smart. And she was just like, there's a great grouping of museums where the college is. So
what school did she go to?
St. John's I think St. John's or Rutgers. She went to the east. She went out east. But or Boston. I don't remember, bro.
Boston.
Played basketball.
Yeah.
And she was just telling me, like, and I was shocked. I think that's really where I'm getting at. Like, I was just genuinely shocked at meeting D1 athlete who doesn't love her sport and is just doing it because she's gifted.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's no love or passion there. There's just convenience.
But there was... So is it convenience? Sure.
But there's the character, right?
Yeah.
To get to that level, which most can't. Most won't.
So do you think most people are predisposed then to like a default setting where...
That's the hero's journey, bro. Like...
Yeah.
And only you can figure that one out.
Yeah.
Like you just gotta live your life and just see what you like, see what you don't.
Yeah.
See how the cards come, figure out how to play them. And like in this girl's case, she was just like, shit, if I want to go to college, I gotta ball. Period.
Yeah. But you know what's interesting? I feel and it might just be my own bias towards our own culture. But it seems to me that we do have a lack of curiosity.
Yeah, most do.
Why
they
is
beat
that?
the shit out of it in school.
Okay.
We're taught to be factory workers for General Electric and Ford and the Sears Company. All right.
Damn good catalog.
So we're not meant to think, and even if you do have like a lick of curiosity, like.
But see, I don't know if I agree with that though. I think yes, the history is school is regimented. It's there's definitely that element. Hey, we're creating a workforce. I think that's a utility that a society needs that isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I also don't think it's wholly accurate for the reason that we have so many in our intellectual class who I think really move the pendulum sometimes on thinking. I don't know. It just seems to me that...
But they read.
Yeah.
And most people can't read. I think the average person in the U.S. speaks at like a 3rd, 4th grade level, 5th grade level.
Don't quote us on that, by the way.
No. Yeah. Quote us on it. Because I know part of the reason Trump has his rhetoric is because he's trying to speak to a 4th grader. And he's really good at that. Right?
I think I remember. I think it was during the 2016 election cycle. They had analyzed some of his campaign speeches. It's something he used the same like 50 words or something.
But that's the same thing that Kamala is doing currently. Mm-hmm. Like that's her political strategy. Like these are the slogans and then the words that we're gonna keep saying and using, and we'll just recycle it. Just Obama did it.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a hallmark of our political class for sure.
So it's like if our voting population is at a 5th grade level, and that's cumulatively making an average.
Yeah.
Right? Bro, you really think a 5th grader is going to come up with something intellectually curious?
Yeah, I mean, probably not.
It's going to fall flat.
Yeah.
On our end when we are college educated people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But do you think college today in its form, how much do you think that it actually contributes to someone coming out and being well-rounded and critically thinking?
It just depends on your major. Depends on what your school. I think if you go to a school where your major is just hyper-focused on one thing, like that's all you're going to be, right? If you go to Juilliard and you're a musician, what do you think you're going to end up being?
An auto worker. No,
right. Do you get what I mean? You're a master mechanic on the side.
Yeah.
Because you can't make a living. Maybe.
Yeah. But does society need to be... I mean, I think people should generally be thoughtful about what they do, right? I think it's good for the soul. It's good for the spirit. It's good for all those things to have an opinion about certain things. I've always valued critical thinking. Maybe to a fault.
No. That's why we're great friends.
Yeah, right. No, I think critical thinking is an important tool because it allows us to ask, to look at information and make an assessment, a value judgment over it, right?
Cramp.
Uh-oh. You know what happens when you get old. Jesus. I fucking woke up this morning. Whoa. I sneezed and my back hurt. What was that?
I tried diving for a ball at short and I shouldn't have, and now it's coming back and it's saying, ha ha ha, motherfucker.
Oh, quick tangent. How did the game go today?
We lost. Oh!
Was it like a blowout?
No, it was close. And then our outfield sucked. I was pitching and they fucking couldn't help me.
I should have been out there. I'm a good fielder.
They couldn't help me.
I'm not that good of a fielder.
Oh, that felt bad.
Are you all right?
Yeah, it's still there. It's like right here.
Wait, so did you start at short?
No, I was pitching.
Oh, you started.
I was pitching. Yeah. I went like 3-4 innings.
Uh-huh.
1-2 runs.
What was your only 1 or 2 runs? That's pretty good.
Not bad. But still.
I still want to practice, man, but it's just like Friday I couldn't go. I worked a lot of hours on Friday.
No, I get it. Okay, that's better.
All right.
Damn.
You okay?
Old.
Are you back?
Slowly.
Dude, you're almost 33. How do you feel about that?
Old. Crucified.
Yeah, this morning, so I ran yesterday.
Oh, boy. Goggins did.
Yeah, I ran.
Who's going to carry the boats?
I ran for, it was just 2 miles, but it was 2 miles with a pretty good amount of hills. So,
nice.
I'm not going to toot my own horn that much, but I'm fucking awesome. No, it was actually very slow because I think I told you, right? I hurt my knee a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I've been, trying to nurse it up, make it feel comfortable. And I felt finally after stretching and doing some different workouts and stuff, felt good enough to run again.
Yeah.
And so I hit the hills. Nothing fast. Fairly slow. I think I did about 10:30 to 11 pace in that range. And it felt good, though.
Nice.
But when I woke up this morning, my fucking legs hurt. My feet hurt. Yeah. That was weird. And then I'm having like my hip, my lower back area has been pain for a while. But I sneezed this morning as I was getting up out of bed, and my fucking back was like, oh shit! I felt like I couldn't walk for a good second.
Damn.
So that might just be I'm a fat, lazy piece of shit, or I'm just getting old. It's probably both.
It was the running.
Yeah, it was
the hills.
It was a good run, though. I enjoyed it.
It was the hills.
The hills have eyes. The hills have eyes. No, but I do agree. I think critical thinking is a valuable tool that we should all have. Not just for like, big picture societal stuff, but just even in the workplace.
Yeah.
Like if you get a directive or an order or you get something that comes down the pipeline, it's important to evaluate it. And I think critical thinking is a good tool to evaluate information. It just is. But at the same token, I feel sometimes when you think way too much about a topic, it stops you. Like, I'll give you an example. So this podcast, right? For me, when we were starting, I was thinking way too much. I wasn't thinking about, let's just sit down and have a fucking conversation like we normally do. And I think that was definitely a measure of overthinking, trying to understand what the YouTube overlords want, right? And stop thinking about what people want to listen to, what would be good entertainment, and just like, man, you know what? We're doing a podcast. We're two buddies below the trees. Shout us out, Instagram, YouTube, and all that. I'm just kidding. But, it really hit me. It's like, sometimes you can overthink about what you want to do and when planning and stuff. I used to tell new bands because, having some experience in bands, if you can make it past the first practice, I feel like you have a good shot of being a band. The first practice is always a good barometer for where the trajectory of the band is going to go. I mean, even if it's just a jam band that's going to play at bars or something, right? You need to make it past the first practice, because that first practice allows you to see the skills of the other musicians. Generally, you kind of know going in where everyone's at, but how do you play together? Is there chemistry there? Is there uniformity in some ways, right?
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna play well as a unit? And there's some bands I played in, dude, like the first practice was awful, and the band never continued. But every time that we did that first practice and the chemistry was there, we'd always end up playing. We'd always do it, going further than just that. And it was a good time. So I think you just have to sometimes do the thing.
No, you have to.
You have to do the thing.
Yeah.
Ian MacKaye from Minor Threat, if I remember correctly, so he started his own record label, Discord Records. And
shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Discord Records, Ian MacKaye, Minor Threat, Fugazi, word up. So Ian MacKaye said he was glad that he didn't know what the hell he was doing when starting his label, because they just did the thing. And they'd probably, in terms of what a label would do, they probably did it wrong.
Yeah.
But because they were able to just do it and develop and learn as they went, I mean, he ended up having a pretty successful independent label. And, I mean, Discord's awesome. I think they still have some pretty cool artists on their lineup, if I remember. But it's been a while since I looked at their lineup. I think that's just a testament. Sometimes you just have to do it to get better at it. And like this, I enjoy doing this.
So what about No Fap?
Oh, let's not get there.
Ah!
I mean, here goes the deal. I think, people, I think people for the most part tend to choose short-term pleasures and short-term excitement for that long-term benefit, right?
Yeah.
Long-term happiness. I think the No Fap thing, I don't really know I know it's like a whole movement, right? I'm not even.
I had a friend in college who he was like, "All right, motherfucker, we're gonna do No Fap." I'm like, "We're doing what?"
I didn't even know what the fuck Fap was.
Yeah,
years ago.
It's a Reddit. I think it was something that started off of Reddit.
Or fucking Reddit.
Like Fapstronauts, something like that.
Fapstronauts.
And my boy was telling me, he's now a PhD doctor.
Yeah.
So he's always like super curious dude,
yeah.
figuring out how to better himself, better, everything around him.
Yeah.
And he's like, bro, I'm gonna try this. I know this shit's a little out there. Are you down? 90 days. Let's go, motherfucker. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
So okay, can you explain what exactly it is?
So I think I can't, but I'll try.
Okay. Can you explain to the best of your abilities what the No Fap thing is?
Okay. Yes. I think there's multiple levels of it.
Yeah.
So I think easy mode. This is where I don't know, but I think hard mode would be like,
or in Halo terms, legendary.
And legendary mode for sure. No porn, no masturbation, no edging, no touching yourself. Just like you just wash it when you gotta wash it and use it when you gotta use it.
When you're in the urinal, you shake it twice or more than twice. You're having fun.
Right.
Okay.
And that's it. Like you. I think even on hard mode, you don't even have sex.
Interesting.
Like, you're really trying to do sperm retention, right? I think easy mode, I think you could maybe watch a bit of porn, but don't try not to touch yourself, right? That's why I don't. If we're gonna do it hard, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I only know the hardcore.
Yeah.
Because I remember at the time there was a girl that I was starting to talk to, and I was just like, bro, what? Yeah. But essentially, you're trying to kind of reprogram your sperm to become healthier. Because if you yourself can have better self-control over something like that, which is a completed ejaculation event, right? That maybe you might be a little bit better off doing other things in life. You might be a little bit more self-disciplined. Maybe you won't be so, trigger happy. You won't just go for whatever the next dopamine hit is.
Yeah.
You'll be able to sit a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I think if you take it to the ultimate extreme, you're now saying, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to relax. Take it easy. And just completely not think about sex or sexuality.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're a priest. Maybe that's not a good one. Ah! Bad joke. Canceled third time.
I'm surprised we made it to the third episode before you two said, all right, fuckers, before you guys get onto something, we're ending this shit now. Okay. So is that kind of the gist of it?
That's the gist of it.
I mean, I think I mean, it's just like anything. If you indulge in something way too much, there's negative consequences.
Yeah,
right?
Lots of jizz.
In this case, lots of toilet paper. Man, my toilet paper bill has been up this month.
Dirty socks.
Hey, don't mind the sticky socks. Yeah. That's just sweat. No, but no, I mean,
never
like
did the sock thing, but
yeah,
anyways.
you know, I haven't either.
Maybe that's an old school move. That's another generation, dog.
That's the Gen Xers, you know.
Meanwhile,
Gen Soxers.
You hear other comedians. I've heard other comedians making jokes about this exactly.
Yeah.
Where they're like, "No, I had a point. Computer right here. I'm shooting it at the fucking roof. Like sometimes it hit fucking the wall. I'd have paintings.
God damn. That's so that's the benefits of No Fap. You get fucking rocket launcher
launch sessions.
Get the rocket launcher semen right there.
Call Elon.
Hey, this is Elon with the Boring Company. We're gonna launch this guy's dick into space.
Just 5.
Just 5. Fox 4. Pew! No.
Falcon Heavy.
Falcon Heavy. Are you Falcon Heavy? That's gonna be.
I'm Falcon 9.
Falcon 9. Good God. I mean, like I said, I think overindulging in anything, which I think
100%.
There's, we get to our excesses.
Right.
It's so easy to get into your excesses. It's a lot harder to maintain I think a healthy balance.
Yeah.
And so it seems like a good reset, right?
That's the thinking.
But here's a qualm I have with it. Maybe not qualm, but just a question then. So if let's say you do 3 months of this like hard mode, how fast do you go back to? How fast do you kind of resort to?
Do you change?
Yeah, go back to the predisposition.
Well, I think the thinking is like now you're a new person.
Yeah.
For sure, scientifically, we now know 100% on this one. After those 3 months, your sperm has changed.
Yeah.
Like the composition of it, like
how has it changed?
Everything has changed.
Interesting.
Because like it seems, this is where I don't know, but it seems like everything that you do, your thoughts, everything, it's affecting the whole rest of your body.
Yeah.
And so if in 90 days you're now a different person, like let's say, not only because usually, right? Yeah. Usually when a kid, because it's a kid, right? Yeah. It's not a 30-year-old that's going to say, I'm going to go fucking do No Fap.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an 18-year-old. It's a 20-year-old, right? It's a kid in college.
Someone coming up.
It's a kid in college, right? Where they're thinking, okay, how do I better myself?
Yeah.
So more than likely, just like with my friend's case, he was trying to lose weight, trying to become a better person, become a better student. And so it's just like 3 or 4 different things going on at once.
Yeah.
Where he's trying to better himself, to be a better man. Like that's the ultimate. Like that's what it comes down to.
I think, it's definitely something you should try for.
And so having ball control, right, is part of it.
Okay.
So it's like you're now a better man because you're not succumbing to the social norms of porn. Yeah. You open up, social media and you want to look for half-naked women or straight up just look at porn on fucking Twitter. Yeah. You can do that. Like, that's the society that we live in.
Yeah.
You don't even have to fucking go on a separate browser.
That's true, man.
Okay? Like, you want to see half-naked women? You can do it on Instagram. You can do it on Twitter. You can do it on TikTok.
Yeah.
You can do it on Facebook.
Yeah.
You can do it on YouTube. And those girls have their OnlyFan page and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And even some dudes who fucking get into the fetishes of feet.
Yeah.
Or elbows or wrists or whatever the hell. If you can now say, okay, I know that I like this, but I'm going to stop that because I'm spending a lot of time on it.
Yeah.
I'm wasting.
So what do you think? Okay, because if we're thinking short-term excitement, short-term gains versus the long-term happiness, where do you think that plays in it? How do you think doing something like No Fap plays into that.
It changes the rewiring of your brain.
Yeah.
In I don't know if it's real.
Yeah.
But in a real sense of like everyday living, seeing my friend.
Yeah.
Right.
Who's now a PhD.
Who used to watch a lot of porn.
Yeah.
And admitted to me, and he's like, bro, I got hard drives.
Jeez.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, we're done. And he figured out this is what I'm going to do to stop.
Yeah.
So 100% he put it away.
Yeah.
And this was his way. He's like, you're going to be my accountability buddy. And so I think it was like every Friday he would admit to me, kind of like, I'm the Catholic priest here.
Yeah.
And he would tell me,
Our Father, 'tis a thee. No, it's good.
It happened 3 times this week.
All right.
Happened twice.
So when he would have to be accountable to you in that sense on Fridays.
So because I was a great friend in that sense, I was like, all right, motherfucker, you cheated because that was the parameters.
Yeah.
We're going to go work out. We're going to go do a hardcore workout. So you did it fucking 4 times this week? All right, motherfucker.
4 hours.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're busting our ass. And Monday, we're not eating. Like, we'll do something extreme. And so I was that extreme factor to be like, hey, asshole, you fucked up. I would fuck up. And then, we would use each other to figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, he had a meal plan to get food.
Yeah.
I had a great gym. So we would just figure out.
It's synergistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's just one of my boys. And
Yeah.
he opened up, told me that this is what he was trying to better himself as.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, let's do it. Fuck it.
To be honest, man, that's such a good model, too. I think a lot of times when we have struggles in our lives, I think we tend to try to keep it insulated and keep it to ourselves because most of the time people don't want to admit they have problems.
Sure.
And finding someone that you can be accountable with.
No, 100%.
Someone that you can say, hey, you know what? This is me at my worst day. And just own up to those things. And to someone to keep you honest, right? I mean, there has to be, for lack of a better word, consequences, right?
Yeah.
Something that counterbalances, I made a mistake, but we need that stick just as much as we need the carrot.
Exactly.
And that's what I think we're missing a lot of times, man. People don't either want to be accountable.
There's no accountability.
Yeah, 100%.
Who's going to tell you, okay, stop. No more watching. Like, this is not good for you, bro.
No, I mean, that's true. I mean, I think it's celebrated, right? I think in some ways for women, it's, hey, I'm empowering myself. But I never understood that. Like when Cardi B's WAP song came out. Sure, I'm all for Cardi making her money and becoming more and more famous. Like, if that's her track, that's her track, right? I'm not here to hate her hustle, or this is definitely not anything on her. But I think the commentary around it was, hey, she's empowered. She's controlling her sexuality. Which I guess if you look at it from a particular frame, sure. If you're controlling it and you're the one in charge, that's a good thing. But on the flip side of that, it's like, well, what is really a value here? Because if you're saying my power is the sexual gaze and I control that sexual gaze for men and I can control men, right? Is that really something that we should put on a pedestal and something that we should celebrate? I don't know. I don't think so.
Like, if I'm just a little pushback on
yeah, please.
What does WAP stand for all of the non-hip-hop listeners?
WAP stands for Wet Ass Kitty, because we're a wholesome show. We're a wholesome show. You can listen to us with your kids in the car, except when we say bad words.
When you have a WAP, which used to be slang for Italians, fucking wop, you fucking wop, right? Now it's a word of empowerment, apparently.
Well, I mean, I don't think that in itself is a word of empowerment, but I think the commentary. She figured
out how to use it to propagate women's empowerment, right?
But see, that's the thing. I don't think that was intentional for her. I think she, in defense of Cardi, I think she
really
in defense of her. I mean, I don't I think she's just pursuing what's marketable, what can make her money, and so on. I think it's the.
It wasn't that big brain move.
I mean, you know, if you're a pop star like that, which she is, you have a team behind you, right?
Yeah,
you have a whole marketing.
Oh yeah.
So maybe that was the intent of the marketing. I don't think that's her intent. I don't think she gives a shit. I think she's just making music and she loves what she does, and she's gonna do whatever she wants, right? I mean, her brand is that of hypersexuality and money.
No, 100%.
But my point is, I think more or less it was the cultural commentary that people. And maybe it was, hey, you know, I'm going to slide this you know, packet to this particular journalist, and this is the notes that we're going to put for them so they can write that in their articles. Maybe, but ultimately I think the cultural commentary shifted that women's hypersexuality is ultimately a good thing because they control it, right?
But do they?
I mean, but that's the thing too. At the end of the day, I think
because the famous song from Louis Armstrong and Ella Fitzgerald is "It Takes Two to Tango," and I think in order to get a whop, you need something else. You need another person.
Well, I mean, I don't know. That's a good question.
I mean, just like men,
yeah,
we could easily.
But I mean, that goes to the question of what is female empowerment then? What is it mean to have men looking at you like that, right? Because it just seems a little contradictory that you have women who are like, hey, don't hypersexualize me, don't do these things to me, but you know, I'm going to make an OnlyFans page. It just seems contradictory. And I'm not saying that, and this is by no means an endorsement of any sort of sexual violence or anything like that towards women. And I think any violence is wrong.
Bro, right? How are we talking about violence?
No, I'm just saying.
This became a domestic violence call.
This is a domestic violence. No. But I think...
No, Maria, stop!
It just seems to me backwards. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like... If we're saying that men are oppressive and men are hypersexualizing it, and there's the men's gaze towards the female body, right? It just seems like
women do it too.
Yeah, we're endorsing that. We're not saying, hey, we should respect each other. We should respect women. We should respect men. We're not saying that. I think the messaging is just a little mixed. But is it intentional? I don't know. Sex sells at the end of the day, right? You see have you seen this ad? There's an ad for these hot dogs. God, I can't think of the name of the
If you say company. Costco, I'm going to laugh.
It's not a Costco hot dog. But in the hot dog ad, there's women in the ad, and their mouths are literally like, oh, I want some hot dog. And you see a fucking hot dog right next to her open mouth looking like,
oh yeah.
And I'm just like, good Lord, like.
If you subscribe to her OnlyFans, you'll see where else she'll put it.
Yeah, right. OnlyFans for hot dogs.
$1.50.
That's right. Jesus.
100% all beef.
All beef. Yeah, no. I mean, sex sells, dude. I mean, you know that. I mean, I remember I took a class in college, and we were just analyzing ads.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a marketing class. I think it was an English class or something. And we were just analyzing ads, and all of those ads had some sort of phallic symbol in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just interesting how subconsciously, you know, sex is used for marketing.
Oh, I know, for sure.
And it just seems to me like there's a message out there that we should not hypersexualize people, and we shouldn't do anything that would lead to potential violence, but that's what's marketed to us all the time. I think that's ultimately what I'm saying, is that, you know, we talk about respecting each other, we talked about these things, but everything that's pushed for major consumption is hypersexuality because it sells. I mean, it makes money, you know. And I think kind of getting back to what that overarching theme of self-control and discipline and you know, what is important to have a long and happy life instead of just those short-term gains is controlling that, and how difficult it is to control that today. I mean, probably even back then. I don't even think this is a new problem. Obviously, it's not a new problem.
No, this is not a new problem.
Tell his hold his time.
Yeah, I mean, like, traditionally, like, what, in the monarch system in fucking England, the queen, like, you would be able to see her tits. Like, that was her thing that she wanted to show off.
Yep.
Right? I want you to see my tits. I want you to know that I'm...
You're going to look at these tits and you're going to love them.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I guess not bad.
Not bad. Not bad.
I mean, I think the issue is like you said, it's probably, I mean.
Meanwhile, the bubonic plague's going on.
Hey, Queenie, what's wrong with you over there? You're looking a little sick. You're looking a little distasteful. I mean, I think, sometimes you do have to disconnect from it all, though, and I think, I don't know much about No Fap, and I'm not gonna pretend I do, but that it does seem like a area where you can disconnect from some of the kind of prevailing norms and cultural norms that we live with every single day.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
That's why it's this weird faction of Fapstronauts.
Out
on Reddit. I can think
it's still a pretty thriving community, right? Because it's been around a long time.
I think it's gotten stronger because a lot of the YouTube, 25-ish and under famous YouTubers who are really pushing the opposite, right? Mm-hmm. Of masculinity is horrible and just like counter, and they're pushing masculinity. They're saying masculinity should be about, having this self-control.
Yeah.
Being this kind of man. Not this fucking Chad. Like,
yeah.
You need to be a man.
Yeah.
And this is what a man is.
Yeah.
And so there's been a big push of YouTubers, and I see it because of my nephews, and I see it also because I'm just talking to youth and coaching baseball in high school. You get to see that some of these guys are telling us, like, I want to be a better man. I want to be like,
yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
And we help them out with like little discipline things and things of that nature, and they get it. They respect it.
Yeah.
And the ones that actually are improving and getting better every day, mm-hmm. and putting in the work, and we can tell that they're doing the work at home.
Yeah.
They care about that. They care about having a clean clubhouse. They care about having all their stuff in line. Mm-hmm. When we're having a warm up, they put all their gloves in the line.
Yeah.
It's simple stuff, but it's discipline, and it's having respect to the game and them understanding.
Yeah.
This is much bigger than just me.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to come out here because I want to be the big bomb swinger.
Yeah.
It's like, no, like, you got to do work. You got to respect, care about other people, like the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that's how you're able to be a better person.
I mean, I think that's the key, is really the theme there is community, right? You have to be a part of a community. Because if you're doing everything alone, if you're
but that's a Goggins
isolated thing.
That's a Goggins.
How do you figure?
Because I don't think until Goggins started publicizing who he was and what he was doing.
Yeah.
Nobody knew who he was or what he was doing.
Yeah.
Straight up. And so that whole movement of being a man, and the kind of man that wants to go out and do ultra marathons.
Yeah.
The kind of man that wants to go out and do hikes. The kind of guy that wants to go out and like go hunting. Mm-hmm. Like that whole category of man.
Yeah.
Doesn't really get established until podcasts, YouTube. Unless you're the kind of person that goes out into the wilderness and just figures this shit out on your own.
Yeah.
Or you had a father and that's what they were into and they taught you how to do that.
Yeah.
It's like, if you don't have those, you're kind of left alone to your own curiosities.
Yeah.
And that's where Goggins came in and said, look, motherfuckers, this is what I do.
Yeah.
I do this, and I do this for this reason because I don't give a shit about anything else.
Yeah. And let me preface, because I don't want anyone to get the idea that I think Goggins is wrong about anything. I think his program is, it works, right? He's a beast. There's no denying that at all. But I know you're right, man. It not just the extremities though, like not in just the, looking at, because Goggins is on that extreme. Goggins is a fucking animal, right? But I think people need a level of community in their lives, and that community gives people purpose, right? Because if you don't see yourself as just an individual, just doing things alone, and you're working, even if it's a small community, even if it's just a community of 4 or 5 people, right?
No, 100%.
Doing something, I think that keeps you accountable, right? I think that it connects you to a greater purpose, greater meaning. It gives you a level of camaraderie. I think people need friends, right? People need to foster good friendships that make them better. I've always, like, coming back to the sort of the music analogy, I realized I got better when I played with better musicians.
Oh yeah, of course.
And that's how it is. I mean, I think that's just anything you do in life. You get better when you work better. That's why I tell you, hey, connect yourself with fucking people who are at the top of their game. Learn from them, right? I think all those things they ring true. But really, I think what it boils down to is, if you're part of a community and you're part of a greater purpose outside of yourself, then you're going to invest in that a lot more.
But that's what people want.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we lack that. I mean, if you look at social media, people, and don't get me wrong, I fall victim to it too, fucking doom scrolling. You're on YouTube or fucking Instagram, and you're just like, oh, here's a meme. I'm going to send this to my 3 friends over and over. And it's funny, sometimes some of the people you really know them through the memes you share, right? And it's just interesting to me that that's where things are now. So it's always kind of a gut check. You need to put yourself out of that realm, and you need to connect with the community and connect with people and have real connections. I think too, even on our political discourse, you see the comment section sometimes on divisive political videos, whether it's Trump or Kamala, whoever. All those people are fucking vile sometimes in the comment section. Fortunately, we're not big enough where we have a load of comments yet.
No, we don't.
I think maybe, I don't know if we've had one, but my point is though, if people were to actually sit down with one another, they're not going to say that shit to each other. They wouldn't. They don't. Maybe they're scared. Maybe they don't have. Maybe they feel empowered behind the keyboard or behind the phone. But I think people just need to get out. I think Ben Shapiro always says, "Hey, you need to get out and touch the grass," and that is so fucking true, man. You just got to get out and see the world in person, and fill your life with enriching experiences with other people.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's one of the important things about marriage. I know we talked about marriage a little bit in episode 1, but that's the kind of important things about marriage, because you have someone built in that you can have fulfilling, enriching experiences with. And that's why I love doing this with us, because, I remember episode 2, I fucking left feeling juiced. Like, dude, we had a good episode. It was a lot of fun. And those experiences just enrich your quality of life. And it's important to get out. It's important to talk to people. It's important to maintain healthy relationships with your family, and really just, be with others.
Yeah.
That's so important, because it seems to me, and maybe you're just more exposed to it, that the mental health issues going out there, it's just a lack of community. And, COVID. Are we going there?
Why not?
Nah.
Why not?
Yeah. I mean, look at after COVID, not commenting particularly on, how we responded to COVID, but I mean, you look at my nephew, for example, missed fucking a whole year of school.
Right.
And he did online learning. Like, that shit, you don't fucking learn from that. You fucking kiss that shit off and go play Fortnite, right? And you get further ingrained into the digital world. That kind of really disconnects you from reality, I think. I know you got a lot to say. But ultimately, I think that's what we need to get back to. I think we need to get back to building stronger communities. We need to get back to just spending time with each other, and settings where we're just having fun. We're playing. Art of Manliness. Brett, one of the things he talks. Brett McKay, shout out. He's one of my favorite podcasters. That your workouts and your things should just be play.
Yeah.
When you're playing and you're having fun with your friends and your family, I think that's when you're most happy. Because even if you're not really building anything in that particular moment, you are.
Right.
You're building connection. You're building trust. You're building, like, it's sport. I mean, you trust if you're a pitcher, right? You trust your outfielders are going to do their job. Now, does it always happen? No.
Usually not when I'm pitching.
You got to basically damn near throw a perfect game. But, I mean, at the end of the day, like, those experiences are what build trust in a team. And I think we got to think of our family and our friends as part of our team. And that's what's going to really, I think, empower our lives to be the best versions of ourselves, because we're connected to something bigger than just you and me, or just bigger than myself.
Right.
So I fucking love that shit, man. It looks like you're about to cry. I didn't know I had that much impact.
Don't let the smoke get in your eyes.
It'll poke your eye out, kid. Yeah. But, like we've been talking about, the culture is kind of in a weird place right now. And again, it just might be that's what we're exposed to. I'm sure there was, prior to podcasts, there was, people having these types of discussions 100 years ago. So I think that's the other part about it, too, is we can't get into a trap that we're so special that this has only ever happened to us. Every society, every culture has had their issues.
Right.
Just different, maybe a little bit different. The medium was different.
Yeah, I was just talking to my girlfriend about Pompeii.
What are you guys talking about?
Did you know, because most of the society living in Pompeii were illiterate,
mm-hmm.
at the typical local brothels, if you wanted to have a service,
mm-hmm.
it was basically, etch-a-sketched on the wall.
Yeah.
In pictographs. No one's literate. Not too many people are.
Yeah.
So, do you want man and woman? You want only woman? You want only man? You want goat? You want horse? Like what do you want?
They had a whole menu.
They had a menu. And it's like the extreme Catholic religious folk would say that was God shunning them, saying
when the volcano opened.
You took too far. You went way too far, because Pompeii was known as Vegas.
Yeah.
That's what they were famous for. They were famous for having these pictograph brothels.
Yeah.
And goat fucking.
Was it for real, goat fucking?
Yeah.
Was that a real thing?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Freak offs.
My name is Julius the Third.
Diddy.
I am Diddy the Wise.
Puff Daddy of Combe.
View my goats. They're the finest goats. The best goats.
They're eating cats. They're eating dogs.
They're eating the cats. They're eating it. Oh, I can't believe you went there. Okay. You were saying.
Go for it.
No. You were saying. Let's continue that. This is an apolitical show. Good God. So you're saying Pompeii is basically Vegas of the Roman Empire
until Mount Vesuvius obliterated everyone, leaving people into stone.
Yeah, right? Which is wild.
Was it God saying, "Yo, y'all motherfuckers don't even know how to read, and you're fucking goats. Too far."
Reset.
You know?
If you think about it, that's actually such a cruel joke. Imagine, I mean, just imagine for a second, the volcano got off, and one guy, he was in the middle of a session with his goat.
Somebody was, like, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's probably the area that's like sectioned off.
Oh, yeah. We don't show this part to the general public. This is the paid experience.
And the British Museum have the rights for it. Don't worry.
Oh God. Yeah, I mean, what a way! Talk about getting caught with your pants down. Pompeii.
I'm a little ashy, Mom.
Oh man, get that guy some lotion. Oh Lord. Yeah, I mean,
that's an extreme.
That's an extreme,
right? And that yeah, like. Okay, so I went to, probably the most famous brothel in Germany.
Okay. Where's that at in Germany?
Cologne. So it's the most open city of all the cities, right?
I've been to Cologne. It's nice. I mean, it's a little rough in places.
It is.
The Dom is beautiful, though.
But it's also where they have, I think it's in September, where they have this massive festival. Everybody dress up in costumes.
Yeah.
People go apeshit.
Yeah.
And it's wild. People dress as different people, different sexes, the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Whatever you want, furries, it's gotten there. And Cologne is like the most, do we want to say progressive?
I think progressive is fair. Yeah.
City where they're having,
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think Cologne is, and I could be wrong, so don't quote me. But if I'm not mistaken, I think Cologne is where most of their in Germany film production is at.
I think it's like the LGBTQ.
Yeah.
Like a lot of their headquarters, or like a lot of progressive movement is in Cologne.
Yeah. I was there for the marathon one year. Yeah. The year my wife and I got engaged.
Nice.
Yeah. The Dom, I'm telling you, the Dom, one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever been.
Yeah, you should. Did you hit the brewery in front? Failed.
No, we did.
Anyways,
I think we did have a few drinks over there though.
Hopefully you did.
Actually, we stole some glasses. Outside where we were at, they kind of had like because the main beer in Cologne is Kolsch, the Kolsch style beer.
Right. That's the brewery across the street from the train station.
Yeah, I think that's where we were, if I'm not mistaken, because right by the Dom there's that big Autobahn. Mm-hmm. Hauptbahnhof.
Yeah.
The train station.
Right.
And yeah, so they would serve you your beer, and it was like these maybe 8 to 10 ounce glasses, and it had Kolsch on there, which was the beer of Cologne.
You could have bought them.
Well, we took them. We just fucking stole them. I have them in my house right now. When we were in Germany, we would have a beer every single day, mm-hmm. and we took the coasters. That's what that was the move. Yeah, so we have coasters from Munich, obviously, Heidelberg, Cologne. We have the glasses from Cologne. Dusseldorf was kind of a bland town.
What?
Yeah, I didn't really care for it.
I had so much fun.
The Altstadt in Dusseldorf was a lot of fun. We had a great time there. And we went to the Auto. I can't think of the name.
The Autobahn?
No, not the Autobahn. But at Dusseldorf, they have... So there's 2 museums, but they're kind of like museum/car dealership. The Ramai, I can't remember the name. But these museums, they had fucking crazy cars. They had an original, like 1929
SSK.
Yeah, some just old shit. I mean, they were selling it though, so you could buy it. It was like 2 million euros at the time. Probably
that's
more.
not an SSK.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying it was a 1929 old car. It was like 2 million euros. They had which was the coolest shit. Ford versus Ferrari. Mm-hmm. They had the Ford GT from the 60s.
Right.
And, I mean, it
was doing the run.
The coolest shit. I mean, that now if you go to Dusseldorf, and they have one in Berlin too, the Autoremise, I think that's what it's called. You see some fucking crazy cars. They had a fucking Fiat from the 60s, police Fiat, which was cool. But they had a Fiat that my wife really liked, and it was only like 10,000 euros. And I mean, the exchange rate was a little bit more favorable to the euro back then, but man, it was some cool cars. Like, I was really floating the idea, hey, maybe we can afford that. I mean, 10,000 euros is pretty reasonable, right?
Yeah.
I think it was maybe 12 grand at the time, but yeah, that was cool. And maybe it was because we weren't there very long. Dusseldorf was not my favorite city.
Sure.
Munich would be by far my favorite city.
Yeah, Munich's great.
Munich was awesome. I mean, you could do so much in Munich. There's a treadmill that I use a lot, and it has you put a video on it, the gym I go to, and it has a run through Germany, but it ends at the old state in Munich, and I every time I run it, I'm like, oh, I know where that was at. I've been there. Fuck yeah. Good times. But you were saying, I don't mean to interrupt you.
The hookers in Cologne.
The hookers in Cologne. They smell nice because they have cologne on.
It's 7 floors.
7 floors? Holy shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's called Pasha.
Mm-hmm.
It's my memory serving me right.
No.
And I think floors 1 through 5 is normal stuff.
Yeah.
So
we're talking straight missionary.
We're talking straight women.
Yeah. Well, about missionary.
No.
Okay.
Just women. Just women.
I know. I'm just being facetious.
We have other jokes that are much cruder. But I think it's floors 1 through 5.
Yeah.
Just women, and then 6 and 7 is where the weird stuff happens. So that's where you can find your gays and your trans.
Okay.
And of both
persuasions.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it was like, you can go through 1 through 5, find your girl, and then if you're really crazy, you go through 6 and 7.
Yeah.
And find your thing. Right?
Yeah.
And so I was talking with one of my other friends who he's single and he's running around all over the world right now.
Yeah.
And he was with us when we took this trip many years ago. And he was like, I went to Pasha. And I'm like, did you go to the 6th floor or the 7th floor, you fucking fag? What happened? And he was telling me, he's like, no, asshole, like, they have furries now. Like, there's a room for that.
8th
floor. So, yeah, it's progressive.
Yeah,
we're getting close to Pompeii.
I mean, it's well, I mean, something that been floating around on the internet is that in the late Roman Empire there was this focus like on hypersexuality prior to the fall,
right?
And a lot of people are using that as kind of their framework to look at use that lens and that framework to look at our own society, and like, there is a focus on this hypersexuality more so than I at least in my lifetime that I've seen.
But I think,
could that be the end? I don't know.
I think that happens once we get comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, we're a superpower, right?
Yeah.
The U.S. is a superpower.
Absolutely.
And so, in that sense, we're comfortable.
Yeah.
We know our place in the world because we are helping with the policing of the world.
Yeah.
We are controlling, the petrodollar if we want to go into economy of things.
Yeah.
And that's part of the way that we maintain order in the world. Because if you want to buy oil, you're usually going to have to buy it in dollars.
Yeah.
So we have ways to, keep our finger on the pulse to say we're tuned in, we're turned on, we are there.
Yeah.
And so I think that allows society to kind of express itself into these new, progressive, sometimes radical thinking.
Yeah.
Right? And I think you can extrapolate that to, even a woman's place in work.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a radical move back then.
Yeah.
To say my wife is now going to be working, making money, earning money for herself, paying into the Social Security system. She's going to have her own retirement. She's not going to need me in that sense, right? Like she's going to be able to pay into the system.
Yeah.
And I think giving these different social benefits that one gets when you become powerful, just like if you are a landlord, you have multiple different properties and people are paying you income, there's some power in that.
Yeah.
At any given moment, well, maybe not in California, but if you were in Texas, at any given moment, you can say, get the fuck out of here because the rent's going to this and you don't want to pay that.
Yeah.
Out. So that then can give you the freedom to not have to struggle.
Yeah.
You're not worried about food on the table for the kids. You can now explore new and different ideas. Travel being one of them.
Yeah.
The ability for both of us to leave this superpower and go somewhere else and spend our money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
It's not like you are some poor, I'm not throwing shade, but just some poor Bolivian immigrant living in Bolivia, rather.
Yeah.
And you're a goat farmer.
Let's not talk about these goats. Goats' lives.
How are you going to be able to travel? How are you going to go out and see the world? How are you going to be able to go somewhere else?
Yeah.
Unless South America is set up in a situation where you can freely go through border to border and come back home, then you're not.
Yeah.
You're going to be focusing on what's in front of you and what's the immediate problem. But I think once you get into that superpower, you don't have these problems.
Yeah. Just
like Germany. So I know for a fact in the German tax code, they purposefully have the corporate tax extremely high. I think it's sitting at like a 90% corporate tax. And so what is Germany telling corporations in Germany?
I don't know. Inform me.
If you take the money out, we're taking 90% of it.
Yeah.
So what's the incentive?
To build in Germany.
Keep the money in the company. And so if you're the largest company in Germany, like a Volkswagen, right? You're going to go out and you're going to purchase Lamborghini, Audi, Porsche. You're going to go out and get Bugatti, Koenigsegg, BMW, BMW.
Yeah.
And so that's the incentive.
Yeah.
To keep Germany big and strong, we have to continue reinvesting. And the best way for Volkswagen to do that is by purchasing other companies.
Yeah.
And that's the accounting so that they don't have to pay 90% in corporate tax.
Yeah.
And by doing that, they're buffering the German economy. Right?
Yeah. I mean, that all makes sense.
Because now you're allowing your people more freedom. They're earning more.
Yeah.
Because into the system, these corporations are now being able to provide more.
Yeah.
And the workforce and the people and the engineers and the thinkers.
I mean, but, using Germany as an example, Germany's always been pretty metropolitan. They've always been kind of on the front lines of technological advancement.
Sure.
For many years.
Great engineers. Probably, not probably, for sure, the best inventors of torture devices.
Yeah, Jesus. That's not untrue.
100% true.
That's what I said, not untrue. Yeah, I think when you do grow, like some of the problems that we have here in the United States, these are not the issues that I think people in other countries who, don't have the same wealth that we have. Even someone who is, lower middle class here is much better off than someone who, like my dad's country, Honduras, right? Mm-hmm. My family, I know people in my family who have dirt floors, right? So there is a lot when you have nothing, or you have very little rather, you're hyper focused on your needs and necessities. Whereas here, if our general needs and basic needs are met almost on autopilot, right? We just go to the store and buy groceries.
Yep.
And I'm not worried about where I'm going to get my next meal for the most part, where I can think about these bigger issues.
Right.
And sometimes I think, people kind of, they get their thoughts and their ideas and stuff when they're twiddling their thumbs because they have nothing else to do, right? But what do you think the role of the state is then here, especially like if we have people who are in poverty? What do you think the role of the state is to meet their needs? If their state does even have a role in that.
The state?
Yeah.
As in
the government, whether it's if you're looking at the state government or the state as in the federal government, what responsibility does it have to bring people who are at the bottom all the way up? Or up? Because there's people here in the United States who, they have that food insecurity.
So, that's the problem, right, of our teachers. Because I think fundamentally it's a question now of okay, where do you live? How is your school funded? Are you in a location where property tax is high enough that we're going to be able to support high quality teachers?
Yeah.
Or are you in an area where a lot of it is Section 8 housing?
Yeah.
And property taxes are not going to be as significant as a part of the budget to the city? Or are you in a poor, unincorporated city that is just part of all of LA County or the whole of a county?
Yeah.
Just to throw shade at different places in LA County that are unincorporated.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the faculties to be able to charge from a base of people who own property.
Yeah.
And so it goes back to this almost feudalism of who owns the land, right? And whoever owns the land is the one that has the actual power.
Yeah.
And so if you own the land, let's just right here, not that far, dude. You saw that one of the oldest houses of this neighborhood got torn down
across the street.
Right.
I saw that.
Right.
That used to be, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was a city council member who used to live there.
And I think it was one of the most original houses.
Lawndale.
For this whole area.
Yeah.
Because all of this used to be the farm. Right? That's why all of Lawndale, all of Hawthorne, even Torrance is flat as shit.
Yeah.
It's all farmland. Compton, farmland.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not until we figure out, okay, we need to turn the farmland into housing. Right?
Yeah.
That house is now going into the process of either becoming an apartment complex townhome complex,
yeah,
condo complex, but it's no longer a single family home.
Yeah.
It's now going to have maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 different families living there. So less than 8,000 square foot of a lot, I think it's maybe more, is now going to be converted into a complex unit for multiple people. Because the economics are showing you're going to earn more on your land by renting to more people.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the culture that capitalism ingrains, the going from a egalitarian agricultural society into the city. And that's the quickest example that we can see right there.
Just locally.
Right in front of us.
Yeah.
And the big question is, okay, what happens next? Who are these people that are going to be moving in?
Yeah.
Right? Currently, they're constructing townhomes a couple blocks away, not too far from my high school.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And there's petitions to say, we don't want to build this anymore. We don't want this to go up because there's already an influx of traffic on these 5 or 6 massive intersections. What are you going to do with these extra 2,000-3,000 people that you're going to add in?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, great for whoever owned it.
Yeah.
And figured out, I'm going to build on it. But what about everyone else who lives out here? We're now going to suffer because traffic's going to take longer.
How do you balance the needs, though? Because there is a need for housing. There is a need for people to have, because it's, I'm not going to pretend my understanding of the market is advanced or anything, but rudimentary thinking, right? You have, if you have a limited amount of land and a need for housing, you got to build houses, right?
Right.
And you're going to have to build up.
No, they give you incentives
to build up.
Yeah.
But realistically speaking, though, if there's a housing shortage, to fill that need, you need units, right? You need multiple units. If you could build 4 houses there that generally people can't afford, 5,000 square foot lot or whatever the case may be, that is not going to supply the need for the amount of people that actually need places to live. You know what I mean?
Small.
That's what I'm saying. I think, what other alternatives are there? Yes, there's incentives. Yes, there's incentives to build up, for whatever, not whatever reason, but there are incentives. I just don't think the numbers make sense to build single family homes. It would be nice
because of the rent. Only because of the rent, because of the amount of rent that you can make.
Yeah.
That's all.
But if you have the land, right, you're not giving. If you have a single family home, like, you don't control the land. You give up that land when you sell it, right?
Yeah. So
why would you want to give up the land?
So yeah, why do you want to sell?
Yeah, to me, it makes more sense to build. If you're the landowner, right, it makes more sense to build up. I think we're saying the same thing, probably.
but now the question is okay, there's more people living.
Yeah.
You've converted something that used to be a house.
Yeah.
A single family.
Yeah.
To now multiple families.
Yeah.
Where are these kids going to go to school?
Yeah. So if just to kind of synthesize what you're saying, then, yes, there's a need. Yes,
there's a need. There's a need. There's a need because we're allowing a massive grouping of migrants to come in.
Well, let's just take that out of the equation. Even then, there's still a need. There's still people who, who don't have the substantial housing. Even if you take the migrant thing out of the question.
Are you talking about homeless people now?
Not just homeless people, but people who who are looking for housing, who maybe need a different situation. I mean, I think there's still a need for housing, even if you don't look at it from a migrant perspective. I still think there's not just homeless, but people who are low income, you know, and who are overcrowded in their current apartments or in a current living situation. There could be more housing for most people. I think that's regardless. But I think what I'm saying, though, is synthesizing what you're saying. Even though there is that need, wherever the groups are coming from, there's going to be more traffic, more people traffic. So you're going to need more seats for schools. You're going to need better traffic control things. I mean, I know the intersection you're talking about, and traffic is crazy there, and that would just contribute more to it. So maybe we need to develop more solutions to, you know, alleviate some of those quality of life issues. How do you do that, though? That's a real question.
Well, COVID came in and gave us a solid solution. You can stay at home. You can order everything that you want online.
Yeah.
Technology will save you. Mm-hmm. You can work from home. You can work from your computer.
Yeah. I mean, there is a lot more telework now. I think most people,
and
post-COVID,
that have it,
there are a lot of people who love that option.
Those that have it, will use it.
What have you read any of the numbers about like productivity as it comes to post-COVID, like with telework?
I'm sure it's shit.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure it's shit.
Yeah. I mean,
if I have employees, which I don't,
I haven't seen any data.
I wouldn't allow anyone to fucking work from home.
Yeah.
Fuck you. You want to work and be productive?
Yeah.
You're not going to do it at home.
Yeah.
Unless you can prove, right? Metrics.
Yeah. Well,
but the reality is,
pre-COVID, working from home was because I had a friend, his wife worked from home. She worked for the federal government, and her job, even though, if I remember correctly, was based in D.C., but she lived here in California.
Doing what?
I don't remember exactly her position. It was a Fed job, but it was like I want to say it was like a managerial type position, if I'm not mistaken. That only required her to go to DC periodically.
Sure.
But that was definitely outside of the norm, right? And I think there are some positions that could be done at home, but there has to be, like, I mean, going back to everything we talked about, there has to be a level of accountability there as well. And I think post-COVID at home, there's definitely less accountability. And especially when you see meetings or people are just dicking around on Zoom and shit.
Literally jacking off.
He didn't take the No Fap advice.
And the goat herder is out of a job. Because we have OnlyFans. Yeah,
I mean, post-COVID, again, I'm not going to speak to how things were administered, but it is interesting to see the side effects of the outcome of some of the decisions that were made.
Right. I mean that, but if we're looking at the brighter outer circle of this whole thing, we're gonna say technology companies became more important during COVID.
Yeah.
And so if I'm a technological company and my users, my use, my marketplace, all of a sudden got this ginormous upswing.
Yeah.
Then COVID was great.
Yeah.
It was necessary. It helped the bottom line.
Yeah.
It helped the greatest innovation that we have in this country.
Yeah.
Besides making bombs and guns, flourish.
Yeah.
Because now we could tell engineers, you can stay home. I know you don't like anybody here.
I think it was you that were telling me you were somewhere, and it was like a video editing lab, and they were working
from home,
but all they were still connected to the network.
Yes.
And they were editing at home.
Yes. For a major 3-letter corporation.
Yeah.
That a lot of people watch a lot of TV with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it was like 7 computers running.
Yeah.
All of these people are editors, editing everything.
Yeah.
From home. And the only thing that you could see is that if the manager was there, he could see, okay, he's editing this one, he's on this program, he's on this season, this guy's doing this one.
Yeah.
This guy's doing that one. Great. Cool.
I mean, I think there is some positive to that, though. I mean, I think, I remember reading somewhere that.
But doesn't it make a reliance on our technology companies that we already have? Yeah. Like, if we have these technology companies like Amazon and Facebook and Google, now all of a sudden we need them all the more.
Yeah.
Because now we're online, we're on home, we're using Microsoft, we're using Google, we're using Zoom, we're using,
all these different platforms.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And so that is the silver lining of this whole thing. That the technological companies got this massive push.
Yeah.
And I don't really see that anybody wants to talk about that. But that is the benefit. And that if before, let's say you were 60 something and you've never purchased anything online, when COVID hit, your kids are now coming to you saying, "Hey, nobody can leave, so let me help you out. Let me show you how to use it. Let me show you how to do this."
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now you can order things.
Yeah.
You can figure out how to do things. You can get food delivered.
The food delivery especially has been crazy to me. I think, obviously we live in the United States and in the West, and we're pretty well developed, and you can go to the grocery store to get your food easily, right?
Out the box.
But like if you think about just the store itself, right? And how sort of revolutionary that is, like, food was so difficult to come by 100 years ago, right? And now we can go to the store and get whatever we want. But we've even made it easier to get food. You could just place in an order.
You could be
online,
taking a shit,
and you're
reordering what you need.
Yeah, and that's wild to me. And that was one of the things I remember listening to the Art of Manliness podcast, just about walking and moving. How we're moving significantly less than we used to, even just going to the fucking store.
Hold on.
There we go.
So, with the clients that I do, head to their homes, head to their house, head to their areas, their place of work, I've seen a very interesting difference.
Yeah.
Very interesting. As the world has shifted.
Yeah.
In the more industrial, because I have some people who are industrial entrepreneurs and they have massive warehouses and whatnot.
Yeah.
When I go into those areas, people are going to be using more electric bikes, electric scooters.
Yeah.
Versus when I'm now in the high-end locations, I'm either by the beach, I'm near the mountains, I'm by the vineyards.
Yeah.
I'm now in somewhere a little bit more plush. It's not a warehouse, not industrial.
Yeah.
There's no electric bikes.
Yeah.
Everybody's bicycling. Everybody's who's got money, they're still pedaling.
Yeah.
Those who don't have money, electric. And that's the shift. Because those that know, I need to stay in motion.
Yeah.
I need to keep moving.
Yeah.
I'm 50 years old, but I don't give a shit. I need to keep going.
Yeah.
Versus this guy's the general manager of these 3 warehouses, and how does he get around from these 3 warehouses where he could easily walk?
Yeah.
Scooter. What do you think's going to happen?
Yeah.
The owner, who I know, who bikes, he stays fit. Meanwhile, the manager, I think he's gained like a solid 15 pounds.
Yeah. Just from
biking.
Just a little less activity.
Because instead of walking, which is what he used to do, he's now biking.
Yeah.
Because he's like, this is the future.
I think that's why, maybe not the best example, but the movie WALL-E. Did you ever see that?
I know of it, but I never watched it.
So the movie WALL-E was interesting. I mean, some of the messages today, I think, are pretty. Because at the time, I think movies were generally less political. But WALL-E definitely had a political bent, and especially referenced the climate and things like that. But
which is a whole nother conversation.
The whole nother conversation, which is we'll leave for episode 4 or something. No, but one of the things in WALL-E, one of the byproducts of humanity relying on technology was that all of the people that were still left on. So just the premise, if people who have not seen WALL-E in X amount of years has been out. Humanity destroys the earth. It makes it uninhabitable for life due to overconsumption, due to pollution, those types of things. Humanity had to physically leave onto a spaceship with the intent to come back once Earth was habitable. They sent these robots, aka WALL-E and others like them, to clean the Earth.
So this is the story of the Anunnaki.
Right, there you go. Well, so WALL-E, if I'm not mistaken, he was the last robot to clean Earth, and he was doing his job faithfully, but really not making a dent. But he found life, right? He was able to. I think he might have fostered it. I don't remember exactly, but anyways, humanity's on this spaceship, and then the generations that live there on the spaceship over time became so reliant on the technology that their bone density became so minimal, right? That they could no longer walk.
Yeah.
They were literally sitting on these devices where they can consume media, drive around, and they had no movement.
But isn't that what aliens are, Brian? They are these gray, green, sexless.
I mean, no. But
they always remove the dick and the balls. They don't have a slit. It's just sexless.
In WALL-E, they were still distinguishable humans.
But I'm saying though.
Yeah. But no.
When we have our idea of what an alien.
Well, no. But hold on. I'm not saying that they were aliens.
No. I know you're not. I know you're not. I know.
Yeah.
I'm just pushing it to the extreme now.
Okay.
And I'm saying, isn't that what we're becoming?
Well, no. I mean,
society is saying, at least the super youth who are very progressive are saying, we want a sexless, LGBTQIA plus, meaning I identify as something completely else.
Yeah.
I'm willing so far as to, in some cases, do body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
Where now I'm technically, on a archaeologist thing. Yeah. I'm now different. I'm now an alien.
Well, I mean, Rogan has a thought that the aliens aren't really aliens, but they're just us from the future, where it's not maybe. I mean, I don't know.
It becomes more of a reliance on technology.
But if you look at some of the aliens that
you've seen.
No, the aliens that with the that generic small body, huge head. It's just that they've developed stronger, bigger brains.
Men in Black, and
maybe, but no. So what I meant by
E.T. wanted to go home.
Not necessarily the direction that you were going, but when it comes to the guys in WALL-E, I think it's more contemporary today because people are moving less, right? Obesity is probably as high as it's ever been.
Elon wants to take us to Mars,
right? I mean, I think what it's saying, when we have our technologies, we're so dependent on it, where we can't even walk at the grocery store anymore to pick our fruit, to pick our whatever we're fucking buying. And again, how revolutionary is the grocery store?
But we don't want the communication factor of having to deal with another human.
Exactly.
Or we don't even want to do the self-checkout.
Self-checkout's not too bad.
Meaning you're your own employee working for this company, not getting any benefits. The only thing that you're doing is just pulling.
Yeah. But what I'm saying, though, ultimately is we are becoming more and more like the people in that movie.
No, 100%.
Where we are, less physically able to do generally human beings would be able to do.
So what's the outcome of this movie?
Well, the outcome is actually pretty positive.
Spoiler alert!
The outcome is pretty positive. So
what does Disney say?
What Disney told us, what our overlord
Your favorite.
Said, no, so at the
what
end
did
of the
Mickey Mouse say, bro?
The captain of the ship, once he realized that Earth was habitable for life, he said, fuck it, we're taking this ship back and we're taking over. And, he stood up. He actually stood up out of his little captain's chair and
Captain Kirk
and walked, right? And so then as they came back to Earth and they were in the credits, you kind of see, if I remember correctly, there's like a montage of them
making it back
to Earth and regaining their physicality, right? But I mean, I don't see where we come back from that here in our Wally was a little bit hopeful. I'm a little bit more pessimistic about our outcomes. Not because individuals, right? I mean, individual people, they have their own motivations and goals and things that and make decisions based on their, for whatever reason, right? But I think you're right on where the corporations, especially in the tech community, COVID was that defining factor where they were able to push a lot of stuff to make our lives more convenient, make us more consumers. I mean, we've always been consumers, right? But now you have this even more hyper consumerism,
and we become ingrained
to
wanting to use these platforms more so.
Yeah.
So if previously, I don't have the math or the statistics in front of me rather to say, but like let's assume that everything, Amazon, Facebook, everything would have been less than 20% of time consumed. After, I think it's got to significantly jump at least a solid 10, 15 points.
I wouldn't doubt it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not just our generation. It's every generation.
Yeah.
From the youngsters who got stuck at school, now doing it from home.
Yeah.
And if they had a phone, then all the worse.
Yeah.
All the way up to the kids in college, all the way up to the people having to go to work, who now all of a sudden couldn't go to work.
Yeah. And the retirees.
And especially the retirees.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, I really don't think very many smart retirees had their money in pure tech.
Yeah.
It's more as let's just have like the overall S&P 500.
Yeah.
We'll just capture a percentage of it, which did well for most people. But the ones that really came out were the ones that were in tech.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that created the biggest push.
Yeah. I mean, you're right, man. You're right. But, John, it's looking like it's about that time for me.
Oh, you're cutting it? You don't want to talk about Trump getting shot?
Yeah.
That didn't happen?
We're
going to be just like the mainstream media and not talk about it?
We'll save that for episode 4. Because we got to come back next week.
Man in the bushes.
The greatest shot. The worst shot, actually. No, I will say we'll save some. I think we've hit a lot of good conversation points. I think it makes me excited for next week. But I did want to, before we close, I did want to sum up some stuff.
Go for it.
I think that's important.
Do your own mini ChatGPT summarization.
ChatGPT.
4.5. Let's go.
No, ultimately, though, I think kind of close out the discussion, I feel some of the major points that we hit on today are there is value in delaying gratification. But a part of that, I think, come back to the conscientiousness of certain things, right? The better decisions that you make, it builds off of each other, right?
Yeah.
I think there are people who are genetically predisposed to have higher levels of conscientiousness. That's just the reality, right? I think genetics do play a huge factor. But for those who are like, fuck, man, my genetics suck, like mine, I think what you need to focus on is to make small but good decisions in your life, right? Because A lot of times we feel powerless. I think a lot of people feel powerless out there because, you know, some of the big issues we talked about, we don't have any control. I think we have no control in the direction of the way society goes, right? If we have all these forces that are pushing ideas on us and pushing, you know, narratives or whatever the case may be, that's besides me, right? Mm-hmm. I have no control over that. All I can control is how I respond to things, right? And so if anyone who's watching this and says, well, how do I build conscience? How do I make better decisions? I think you just got to start making better decisions, right? You have to exercise your own personal agency. And, you know, I know we had a conversation about free will and things like that. And but, you know, some of the people might say, hey, well, I don't really have that agency. I think you have to, whether it's real or not, you have to own it and make better decisions today. I think that's really going to put you in a position to continue making better decisions long term. And then those wins you get, you build off of that. And I think that develops conscientiousness. I also think you can build your conscientiousness by doing things and being curious. I think you really hit the nail on the head that earlier. Curiosity. Is there a lack of curiosity amongst people? Sure. But if you continue to make good decisions with your life, you know, you do the hard things, I think you're going to find that you're more curious about life in general.
Then the pushback would be technology has allowed us to become more curious.
True.
So
I don't think technology is bad.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That it's now allowing for curiosity.
Yeah.
To grow, to fester, to become something.
Yeah.
If you want to go look for it.
Well, 100%. And I think that's what comes back to good decision making, right? Because you have a choice when you get on your phone.
Who you want to listen to.
Yeah, what you consume.
Right.
And by making those decisions, like, look, we live in the world that we live in. We don't really have a choice in that matter.
Sure.
If you were born today and this is what you have, right? But if you, again, make good decisions about how you use things, how you consume things, you build from that. I think you can develop a positive curiosity that you're going to find and discover things that you never thought you would enjoy, things that you love. And then from there, when you are curious and when you do really put in your decision making and your curiosity work synergistically, I think you're going to be able to develop discipline without it even being discipline, right? The main thing I want to focus on is if you do something that you love, you're not working. It's not going to be a hard decision to, do that thing. I just think you have to do it, and you have to build towards it. That's all.
And the sad, unfortunate truth
here it is
most people know what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And they choose to actively not listen to it.
Yeah.
And to succumb to their greater, I guess, inhibitions.
Yeah.
Their own fears.
Yeah.
Their typical mindset, the way that their brain's wired.
Yeah.
And you just continue doing what you feel good with, so you get more dopamine hits.
Yeah. And look, for my final closing out message, I think for anybody watching, and this really a message to myself too, is do the thing. At the end of the day, you got to do the thing. Whatever it is that you enjoy, that you are curious about, just fucking do it. Don't think about it and get strangled by, am I doing it right? Just be like fucking Ian McKay. If you want to start a record label and you don't know a damn thing you're doing, fuck it, do it. You're going to learn. You're going to be better. Surround yourself with good people. Build yourself a community around something that you love, or find the community that is around something you love, and you're going to be a lot happier in the long run, I think.
And I think the next step is take risks.
Taking risks, man. That's a good one.
Risk, that's where the reward comes in.
Yeah.
Just as the failures do.
Yeah.
because you can learn from those failures, or you can learn how to figure yourself out.
Yeah.
Do it better next time.
The biggest quote I've always loved, and it's so cliche, but is JFK. We don't do things because they're easy. We do things because they're hard.
Right.
And I mean, there's a lot of truth in that. I think the whole conversation about self-control and discipline is kind of a moot point, when in reality, it's just you have to do challenging things. And in doing those challenging things, I think you'll find something you'll love, where even when it's challenging, you love doing it, and you'll be able to continue. And discipline and control, they follow. But with that said, John,
only you can prevent forest fires.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
No, really, I'm saying, like, only you can start it and end it. It's up to you.
That's true. That's true. On that note, thank you for listening to Below the Trees. Thank you for listening, watching. Do all the YouTube things. Like, comment, and subscribe. Check us out. Share us with your friends. We appreciate your time. If you made it all the way to the end, I love you. Have a good night.